Throughout history, women have been at the forefront of change. They have challenged norms, broken barriers, and paved the way for a more equal world. This is the story of resilience, determination, and empowerment for a gender that deserves a chance at governance. Women have fought against systemic oppression for centuries. From the suffrage movement to modern-day leadership in politics and business, their journey has been one of courage and perseverance.
Growing up, I wanted to be a strong voice in the society, and I saw myself gravitating towards law. I think law was my first love, and has always been. So I got into it, and I just wanted to do litigation. But somehow along the line, I found myself in the judiciary, and I said, okay, let me pursue a position in the bench. So far, I've been in the lower bench. It has always been this inner feeling of wanting to be a voice. There were challenges I faced. First, in a male-dominated environment, for you to be reckoned with as a woman, you must have a strong voice, and you must know your onions. You must prove yourself. And when I started out, in my environment, the legal environment, I didn't see myself as an inferior person. I never saw myself as that. I always felt that if the men could do it, I too could. And moreover, in my profession, there's no female in the profession. Everyone is seen as a male. Interestingly, I've worked with some very outstanding male colleagues, and the first two that I worked with, no, three. In fact, my first boss, when I was appointed into the lower bench, he taught me all I knew about courtroom, idiosyncrasies. He was good at it, and I learned. Incidentally, he's my immediate boss today. Outstanding relationship, perfect. I'm still in, good relationship with them until one particular one. That one gave me a tough time. He had this attitude towards me. He would come late and won't tell me he was going to be late. He would travel. He won't call me to tell me. If I was doing stupid things, I would call it, I'm sorry to use the word, but he was doing funny things. At a point, the thing got to a head, and I was going to report him. So at the end of the day, he was posted out. But one of the last sittings we had, he told me he would want to admit to me that I'm a very thorough person. And he said some things that I can't remember now, but it's like he wanted me to actually, explode. But I thank God for the wisdom of friends that prevailed on me. I said, no, please. And I took to their advice, and I decided to, stay cool and just watch insubordination and, attitude to work that he was bringing. And I said, it should be because I was a woman. And I reckoned that if it was a man in that position, he wouldn't do that. Because his body language was always showing it. And then, no matter how late he was, he would not come to my office, because ordinarily other judges would converge at the presiding judge's office. Then you just take your briefing, maybe organize your sitting for the day, and then you march in when it was time for court. He would not. I would have to send somebody to him and said, we are ready. Then he will take his time. We will be standing just at the point of filing into court. Then you just come, good morning, good morning. And I felt, of course, I was a woman. I felt, yes, it was because I was a woman, he was behaving that way. The sacrifices I made was that I made myself available. When I started this work, I remembered that the others were seniors before me. They had been on the job. I was new. But I threw myself into that job. I would volunteer to write rulings. I would volunteer to write judgments, even though I had not written them before, even though we had been trained before starting the job, but it was not the same as having done them. I didn't know I was training myself in the process. I was taking on, I would prepare my children for school. I was at their school programs. I hardly missed their school programs. I wanted to be there for them. I will go pick them up. I will still write my judgments. I will bring my files home. Sometimes I will work on files till early hours of the morning. I didn't know my security man noticed recently. He told me, yes, he knew I used to be awake till late. Sometimes I'll sit up. I need to deliver rulings the following morning. I will sit up till 2 a.m. I'll just say, okay, let me just catch some sleep. Wake up early, prepare my child for school, my last child for school, and then I will head out and make it to court at 9 to sit. So those were some of the sacrifices we made, because you must give yourself a focus. You know where you are going to. There are some sacrifices that need to be made. Success does not come easy. I'm a strong supporter of women anywhere, girls, and there are ways I've used my position. Sometimes when I'm in court, I know those who are juniors from maybe the way they are acting. I know they are new to this thing, and I tell myself that I was once like them, so I go gentle on them. Sometimes there was a particular day she came in wearing large earrings. It's not allowed because it's not a fit and proper part of your dressing. And I think her hair, if it were other judges, you will tell the lawyer, I can't see you, because she wasn't properly dressed. But I waited until she concluded her matter, because I didn't want to ruffle her and I didn't want her to be unsettled. I knew she looked like a young person, So when she finished, I said, counsel, there's something wrong with your dressing. So I used my position, and then when in this kind of position where you talk to people, they listen. Even my staff, I have over 40 staff under me. Once in a while, I hold meetings with them. And I remember sometime last year, I held a meeting with them and I was encouraging them. I said, some of you see yourselves just at this level, but there is life beyond here. Some of you can still do something, learn a skill, go to school if you can. And I was generally, encouraging them. At the end of that meeting, 2 women who were old enough to give birth to me, but they are my staff and under me, they walked into my office. They said they were so encouraged by what I told them. I'm sorry, I'm biased towards women. Even in the marketplace, when I go, I encourage women. I say, what can you do beside this? How can you improve your business? It's just like we have federal character policy that encourages maybe organizations or parastatals to be equal when it's recruiting into the federal civil service, as in balance in geopolitical zones. The government could also make policies that would include maybe a certain number of women. I believe that. And then they make education for women easily accessible. They can bring up programs that maybe is just sponsored for women, scholarships for women, so that women can prove their worth. If they are deserving of these scholarships, they pursue them. Some of these policies will encourage more women to come out, and that way we have more qualified women that will fill in spaces when the vacancies are available. I always tell women, no one can give you the value you do not give yourself. So first, you must value yourself. And don't think you're inferior to anybody. Okay? And it's not a case of competition between the men. No, it's not even that. The men have their place. But I think women must prove their worth. Know your onions. So that when people are judging you, they are not judging you based on the fact that she's a woman, she cannot do this. They judge you based on the fact that this woman knows what she's talking about. Like currently, we have a female Chief Justice of Nigeria. This is the second time. We also have a female President of the Court of Appeal. They are record-breaking. So a lot of women have broken the glass ceiling, and a lot more can. So if you need to go to school, or be better and be good at what you do. I want to leave a legacy of hope. The coming generation I want to be able to look back in time and see that I've encouraged somebody to have hope. Hope in the fact that they can be anything they want to be, and that there's nothing that can limit them except themselves, especially the young ones. And I don't hesitate. Any young lady I meet, sometimes I give them my life story. Growing up, not knowing where you were headed, but somehow you find yourself, making meaning of life, growing up out of life, making meaning out of life, growing up and following your passion and seeing that it actually pays to stay focused. I want to look back and see that a lot of people learned from it and they made something better out of their lives. It will give me no greater joy than to see people inspired by my story and my journey.
Education is the foundation of empowerment. When a girl is educated, she has the power to uplift not only herself, but her entire community.
What really inspired me to work with the children is the love, the passion I have towards the children. Apart from my biological children, I love children a lot, and children really love me. So that makes me to go closer to them, to work with them. And the way I work with them make me to know much about children. So working with children is one of the greatest things. If you take children out of me, I think you have killed me. Apart from my own biological children, children are lovely to work with. In our country, most of the time they will say that women cannot do this, women cannot do that, and it's really a challenge to us, especially the teachers. But there is nothing that is put in the hand of a woman that will not be done well. Me, I believe that God can really use a woman to do anything. Most of the time, we always tell our inspectors that whatever you think that the man is doing very well, women can equally do it very well. Education really helps in empowering women in many ways, because today we have some lawyers, we have nurses, we have teachers, we have engineers, and so many others. Because they are educated, that is why they were able to go to that length. And by the special grace of God, if you have an educated woman in the house, number one, your household, your children assignment will be done by them. Your children will know how to read Bible earlier than even expected. But if your wife or your women at home or your women in your environment don't know anything, most of the time you want them to do something for you, you put it in writing, nobody to read it for them. But with the help of education today, it's really helping women. When they are choosing their career, you encourage them to choose a better career that will inspire them to go further. Not a career that maybe after this they will come and sit down in one particular place. And we always set example for them. They are seeing some leaders in the society today, like somebody like Ngozi Iweala and the rest. I always tell them, I still see somebody like this. Would you like to be like that kind of person? They will say they want. Would you like to be the national women leader in the federation? They would like to. So that encouragement will now make them to think higher and see how they can be like those women. Sometimes I always see it in the family, maybe where they have 2 boys and 4 girls. They always like to give the best to the boys, and that follow them to the school. The girl will be feeling, after all, my father always say that when I finish school, it's in a man's house, but this my brother is going to bear my name and he's going to take after me. Most of the time, that will follow the children from the house to the school, and we try to counsel them and tell them that they should not feel inferior, or this one should not feel higher than you. Don't even agree. But I always encourage them that they should press forward. One of the challenges that girls face in education is this: the parents are not supporting them just because they look at them that they are girls, and maybe they will marry out and they will not be useful to them again. Secondly, they are dropouts, nobody to support them in the society. You look at most of our girls, you see them telling one thing or the other because there is no support both in the society. I look at it that this individually, today we really know that being educated as a girl, the value, what we are gaining today is more. So many parents are really trying, but it's still in the mind of some parents, they are not empowering the girl, but we are still begging the parents. And that is why we go to, we move to, we move in community, preaching to them that they should bring their girl child to school. Even if it's free, we are ready to bring them to school so that they will become somebody big. For example, in Gbagi community now, before the female don't go to school, but when a time came, a lady called Adailo went to school, became the educational secretary in our society in Amak here. Many women now are really bringing up their girls to the school now. The advice I will give them is that they should be focused. They should encourage themselves. They should look at the women they are seeing, especially the ones even in our church here. Women are really doing things in the household of God today. They should look at those women. I want to be like so person. If you don't have mentor in life, if you don't have somebody you want to be like, you will not go anywhere. But look at somebody, both spiritual aspect, physical aspect, mental aspect, and you really say that this person is doing very well in all aspects that I like. I want to be like this person. You will aspire to be like that person. Many NGOs are helping children to go to school. They should pray that one day somebody should come and pick them as a scholarship student, and they should, even some people said they will pick them as scholarship students. They are not even serious. So I'm begging the girls in our society today that once they see anybody helping them, they should be serious so that they will become somebody tomorrow to also help others. And God will help all of them in the mighty name of Jesus.
Financial independence is a crucial step towards empowerment. Women across the globe are breaking economic barriers, proving that they can lead businesses, innovate, and create sustainable change.
What influenced my entrepreneurship journey was firstly the fact that I needed time, to be able to do other things. I needed to be in control of my time, and being in that space gives me that time to be able to control my time. And secondly, I think I wanted to change my world and society at large. That gives me the space to be able to influence and change my world, basically. So yes, one major challenge I faced in my business and as a woman is stereotype. Oftentimes people feel like I couldn't handle different businesses at the same time. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm not just an entrepreneur. Having to mix different or combine different businesses, people feel like, does she have the strength? Does she have the capacity? She probably is a weak woman, and that was the major challenge I faced. And how I was able to overcome that was through determination and focus. I didn't allow the outside noise. Women bring feminism. Women are supposed to and are meant to be soft, so we bring that soft touch, and that already is something for entrepreneurs. And we bring style. Unlike men who like to be direct, women are stylish in whatever they do. We bring the curves, we bring lights, we just know how to make things different. Also for me, I think women are very passionate, we're emotional beings. Unlike men that do things for the money, we do things because it's a passion. We add extra emotions to what we are doing, and we go all out to see that thing succeeds. I have faced gender bias in my line of business, which is fashion. So we're into unisex clothing. which we also make for men. And oftentimes, men feel like, okay, she's a lady, she may not be able to deliver well. So they go to their gender who feel they can get the quality they want. And for me, I'm not swayed by that because I know what I bring to the table. I bring quality, I bring affordability, I bring uniqueness, I bring style, and all of the naysayers, at some point, they come back because they see what we're bringing to the table, not just quality, but affordability. I think over time, I've been able to prioritize and prioritize well. So I know when to work, I know when to not mix work and pleasure, I know when to create time for other activities, for family, for my personal activities, my prayer life. So that doesn't come in the way of my work. So it's just about priorities basically, and I would really advise every woman out there to be able to prioritize, know when to not mix pleasure and work, be consistent in what you're doing, avoid procrastination, and just go for it. But in as much as you're going for it, you should also be able to multitask. That's one thing that's helped me over time. I can multitask. I know when to do this, I know when to do that, and it doesn't come in the way of my work and personal life. So I would advise every woman out there to be able to take risk, and just go for it. It's not easy. The start off is not easy, but go for it. And before you go for it, seek an advice from someone who is in that line of business you want to venture in. It may not be easy. For me, it's not been easy. I mean, the road has not been easy. We have our ups and downs. Business always has its ups and downs. Business on its own is a risk. So you should be determined and ready to take that risk, and also seek advice from someone who has been in that line of business for a long time and who has succeeded in that line of business. For me, I would say that success is a combination of risk, failure, learning from this, and being able to produce results for me from all of this. And for the evolution of the definition of success for me has evolved over time, from just owning my business and controlling my time to being able to pay my bills, to be able to open more branches for my multiple businesses, to be able to handle the responsibilities and shoulders around family, being able to afford going on trips that I want to go on, being able to change my community, my world in general, being able to put smiles on the faces of people, to reach out to the less privileged and to change my world entirely. So yes, my platform is a very unique one. We've been able to organize outreaches for women to put smiles on the faces of women, and we haven't just done that in Abuja, we've done that outside Abuja. We've visited prisons, we've visited orphanages, we've visited IDP camps, we've visited schools, we visited hospitals, medical centers, streets, and through this we're able to uplift women and make them know that there is hope for the living. Yes, and secondly, we've been able to inspire women. They look at me and they're inspired. Women are now able to want to do more for themselves. They want to be better. They want to go into one business or the other. They want to improve their life. They want to, go into a skill. They want to go back to school. They just want to be better for themselves. I want to see more opportunities for women, more grants, accessible, easily accessible for women, programs, opportunities, trainings for women, people willing to invest more in women, because honestly we are strong and we have capacity, and whatever is put in our hands to do, we do it well and we produce results. So I would want to see the world giving opportunity for women, and more funds, grants, loans, and that way you see that the world is a better place, not just for women, but for everybody.
Violence and discrimination continue to be obstacles for women worldwide. But through awareness, policy change, and collective action, women are standing up against injustice.
I'm a journalist by profession, and I was actually the deputy woman editor of the national publication, the Daily Times of Nigeria. And in the course of my work, I interacted with a lot of women, as women were my focus. And I realized that a lot of women, they are going through a lot. Cases of women who went through a lot. Some women suffered other gender-based violence, sexual harassment, and the rest. So when you go through things like that, you really want to see what can you do to help some of these women. And as a journalist, I had opportunity to interact with a lot of women in very influential places, and I think that I could connect these women to such influential women to make a difference. The International Women's Day was March 8th, but we consider March as Women's Month. And the theme for this year is for all women, equality, empowerment, and rights, something like that. But that is the essence of the theme for the year. And they are looking at how we can unlock opportunities for all women and girls. We carry girls along because we want to ensure, generational inclusion in women's rights issues. So when you look at this, we are looking at various areas, that we can get rights, we can get opportunities for women and girls. Is it political participation? Is it in decision making? Is it economic empowerment? Is it reproductive rights? All these are issues that are affecting women and girls, and we kind of look at it and take a holistic. I've seen myself working progressively, in areas that have to do with supporting women to improve their status, at various levels. I told her I was a journalist. As a journalist, I was in charge of women pages in the publication I work with, and I moved up from journalism to the development sector. And all my years in the development sector, I have ensured that women, gender and social inclusion, these are issues that I really focus on. We also ensure that women who are sexually harassed or even battered or suffer any gender-based violence, there are sexual assault referral centers that these women can fall into. I help to ensure this. We have things like that. I'm also a member of many women groups, to ensure that we continue to connect, to collaborate, because you can't do it alone. You have to work with other women to ensure that the impact, you have a greater impact in whatever you do. Individuals, they internalize cultural norms through socialization. Socialization at the family level, at the community level, and then at a broader level. What happens is that some of those cultures, they are outdated. A culture, for instance, that says that a woman, if the husband dies, is inherited by the brother. We have to go and find out, why did they have those cultures that time? What has changed? Or a culture that says women don't have any right to inheritance. Why? We have to interrogate some cultures to find out the reasons, behind those values, those times, and why we have to change them. So we have to do a lot of advocacy. You have to create awareness, you have to increase people's knowledge of issues, and then advocate for reform of some of these traditions and cultures that are injurious to women's empowerment. It's not about women alone, it's also about men. These women we are talking about, they are your sisters, they are your mothers, they are your children, daughters, they are everything to you, they are your friends. So it's not only about women, it's about everyone coming together. See whatever you can do to help to address these issues. I just told you about the framework, the global framework, the Beijing Platform for Action. At our various levels too, we have to have some frameworks that we are using to track progress, because it has to be systematic, So in our various places, in places of church, the women movement, how are they helping, to ensure that women's rights, are increasing. And we have to work together. There must be collaboration amongst government agencies, collaboration between government agencies and development organizations, collaborations among civil society organizations that are working in various sectors, because as we said, there are different issues. How do we come look at the commonalities, things that bring all these issues together and start addressing them? In your various ways, you do what you can do, but also create some forums that bring everyone together to collaborate, to cooperate, and together we can always address some of these issues.
Women's empowerment is not just a women's issue, it is a global issue. A society that uplifts women thrives in every aspect. The future belongs to those who dare to challenge, to lead, and to inspire. We must allow women in governance. Women are ready to lead.
My name is Zainab Daniela Sadiq. I'm a student, I'm in Destry. If I become a leader, I will help my country. I would love to see my country grow. I would love to see free education like how our country was before. I would love to see my country have a good structure. I would love to see this country to become more better than now, because the country, everything is hard, especially for students now. There are a lot of students that cannot go to school because of everything is too hard, and other graduates that they have graduated, no any work for them, nothing, just because of how the country is too hard. So if I become a leader of tomorrow, I would love to change my country, to make my country more better than now. I really like Mrs. Remi Tinubu, our first lady, our president's wife. She's kind, she's focused, she's also good to help our country. One day I would love to be like her, and actually I would love to be more than her to help our country move. Young girls, we can make ourselves better in the world by educating ourselves, by not making ourselves useless but useful to the world. Even as the world is a little bit hard, we can make it easy by going to learn handwork, not making ourselves useless by doing prostitution. Prostitution won't help us, but if we educate ourselves and also make ourselves useful, it will help us and it will educate other people coming up. I don't think girls and boys are treated the same way in our country, especially in the presidency. You will see it's only male that are given the responsibility of being a president in a country, especially Nigeria. Even in our senators, is few of them. I don't think girls and boys are treated the same way in Nigeria. So let's all be equal and treat the same way. If I become a president tomorrow, I will make education free. I will make youth employment in the country easy for them. I would also love to make everything in the country go down. I would love good construction in the country. I would love to see the country move well. The natural resources will be used importantly in our country, not us buying from other countries, but our country making use of it and we making our own products, not buying from other countries. To the young girls watching me today, I will advise you guys that you should be educated. You should not make anybody look down on you. You should not make anybody make you look as if you cannot do it. You can do it. You can be more important to the country. Don't make yourself useless. Don't become a prostitute in this world. You can make yourself useful by educating yourself especially. You need to become something very important in the world. You can do it. Don't feel that you cannot do it.
Fair representation in governance is the right of the woman. Daily, across the world, women are investing in society and paying the price necessary to prove their readiness for equal representation in governance. And the Change We Need in Nigeria initiative is giving that message a voice.